Good morning, guys, and welcome to Saturday, week 14. Oh, it dropped 2 degrees. Alright, it's dropped 2 degrees since I left in the morning. Today's our long run, or my long run. Humidity is 39%. Alright, sadly had to cut my run short. I actually had 14 planned, but due to GI distress, I had to cut it short. Because there's nothing worse than running with, 3.5 days. Well, alright. There's nothing worse than running with the urgency, let's just put it that way. Here you go, 12.41 miles total. I'm certain I lost VO2 max. Yep, that's fine because of the way Thursday went down. I'll explain to you what happened there during my video. Alright, so that takes care of that real quick. Okay, 18,000 steps for the day. Alright, time for my shower and I'll meet you downstairs.
Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Saturday, long run day, on week 14 of my marathon training program. And yes, today is long run day. Actually, I plan on running 14 miles in relation to my 16 from last week, but unfortunately to some GI distress issues, we cut that one short. And before I go into that, as always, let's start out with our daily shot of wheatgrass. And if you're new to the channel, shot of wheatgrass is equivalent to 2 pounds of fresh raw green vegetables. Good to the last drop. Alright, now with that said, also before we begin, this is excuse me, this is my 2013 my 2013, actually this would be marathon number 9, my last marathon, my Phoenix Marathon from 2013. This is that race shirt, and for those who've been following me for some time, every Saturday I've been running, presenting a different marathon race shirt that I've got from all my 9 marathons. So this is marathon number 9. Nothing too fancy there, nothing too much on the back, but that's this shirt. So, with that, oh boy, let's begin. Alright, and so before we begin, I do owe you guys an apology for about Thursday. No, sadly, Thursday I did not run at all. Why? Because I had a 90-minute conversation with my daughter. And for 90 minutes, she had nothing positive to say. And I was supposed to get my girls this weekend. Of course, they're not coming over. Why? Because they don't want to. And apparently their mother's okay with that. And so she has a 90-minute conversation telling me about how I'm at fault for everything, I'm to blame, I'm a bad person, blah, 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 blah. And just to be clear, yes, I do pay my child support. I do uphold my part of the divorce agreement, so I'm not a bad dad in that respect whatsoever. However, you know, I'm the every other weekend parent, and her mother is the primary parent and seems to be okay with things that I'm clearly not okay with. And I haven't seen my daughter since Christmas. Not to get into too much dirt on this because this is not the nature of this channel, but no, I haven't seen my girls since Christmas, and their mother seemed to be okay with them not coming to my mom's memorial service in June. So that's the kind of person their mother is. And so just goes to show that not every full-time mom is a good one, and not every part-time dad is a bad one. So kind of gives you some idea on that. So after 90 minutes of this, and I'm trying to reason with her, trying to excuse me, basically not getting nowhere with her, I've concluded, and it does hurt as a parent, I've concluded, and you know, I made one simple yet sad conclusion. And my daughter has, wow, that's sorry about that. My daughter at age 13, who simply thinks she knows everything, takes zero responsibility for anything that's taken place that she blamed me for, takes zero accountability for her part in anything, and this zero responsibility, zero accountability equals 100% snowflake. I'm sad to say my daughter is a snowflake. And if you're not clear, I'll post the definition of snowflake below as used politically in this day and age. And it's sad, but she's one of them. So with that said, that conversation just hit me hard. It just did. For those of us who run, with a purpose and train hard, we know that your mind really needs to be in the game. And sometimes, as much as you try to put your wear your tough skin, sometimes, loved ones seem to kind of get through the cracks. And so I was joking with a friend of mine. I said, you know what? After that, I really felt bad because yes, you guys know I love the tempo, threshold, progressive runs. I love that. You know this. But I spent 90 minutes on the phone. I was way past my bedtime. So there goes that 8 hours of sleep that I try to religiously get because it's important for our bodies to recover from all the hard training we put them through. And so against my personal wishes, I made the decision not to run. And so like I was telling a friend of mine, I really felt like a powder puff because after not seeing my kids since Christmas, and yes, every other weekend I get another excuse. Them not showing up for my mom's memorial service, I figured I had my tough skin on pretty good. And after last night, this let me know apparently I really started to become a little powder puff. And so I was joking with a friend of mine. I said, well, you know what? Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should go back in the military and join the Navy SEALs this time. And this way they could beat the powder puff out of me. Except I have to lie about my age because the cutoff for Navy SEALs is like 27 or 28, and well, I totally killed that one. So that was that. That's why I didn't run on Thursday, but I did run today. I did plan on 14. I'll be honest, but I did plan on 14 because I did not have that good 7-mile hard run on Thursday to really kind of prepare the legs and things like that. And yes. I did actually even pack a goo gel with me with the anticipation of running 14 in the event I might have needed that. So, and again, it was only cut short because about mile 5, mile 6, I started getting that funny feeling like, oh man, I hope this doesn't turn into a bathroom break. And I got to mile 7, which was fine. So I made the halfway part like I wanted to. On the way back, oh boy, I started to get that, are we going to make it kind of feeling, so I went ahead and decided to cut it short. And because those of us who've ever ran with the desire or the urgent desire to use the bathroom, it's probably, you might agree, it's probably more uncomfortable than running with no fuel in the tank. Because at least with no fuel in the tank, you might be dredging along, but you don't need to go dodge for the bushes. So that's why I cut it short. Anyhow, let's go ahead and take a look at today's numbers. We'll start off. Now, when I got back, Garmin said I left about 84, came back about 82. To be honest with you, it really did feel like 86. And the reason I say that is because I got outside, and I normally know that 81, 82 actually feels like a reprieve from how things normally get. But this morning, I'm running down the street, and you know how if you've ever been in a parking lot, at your mall or whatever, and you kind of parked far from the front door, and maybe you zigzag in between the parked cars to get to the door, and as you walk by cars, you could feel the heat coming off of them. So you could tell which cars just got there compared to the cars that have been there for a while. When I was running this morning, I was getting that walking past a hot car feeling. And so that's why I think maybe it really was 86. I don't know. Because the humidity, though not good, wasn't crazy bad. But it definitely kind of contributed to today's run. So with that, real quick, because I got a lot to share with you, and I promise not to make this long today. Because of traffic on the road, the white gaps illustrate what I did to make momentary, here in the blue, which is our pace area. The white gaps here, 1, 2, 3 different white gaps, do illustrate exactly when and where I had to actually physically stop for cars and things like that. Yes, you can see the heart rate slowly climb, that's fine. One nice thing I will say is that although I'm still not back to the 180, at least my strides looked a little bit more consistent for the length of time I spent at each of the speeds. Be it down here at 80 or up here at 82, I was definitely there for a longer period of time. Why do I say that? Because when we come here and here we go. This is the Morse code Braille, my Braille line here. My legs couldn't seem to commit to one pace or one cadence, pace or whatever. My cadence, they couldn't seem to stay consistent to save their life. Whereas today, definitely more consistent there. And real quick, without blowing this up, this was today's run. Now, real quick. Oh, hang on, let's bring this back up. So you can see, this is how far 16 miles goes out as long as I come back the way I came. This is what 12 and a half looked like taking the shortcut. So shortcut, 12 and a half, 16, 12 and a half, 16. And you can only see from this point here, that's where I really make up the extra difference. So had I come back the regular way, then this line would have not been here. I would have made my full 14 miles, which is fine. Anyhow, coming down here, maybe it's because I didn't run on Thursday. Maybe it's because of the temperature. I definitely knew I had fuel on board. This first yellow line illustrates the last time my heart saw the 150 zone, which is sadly only mile 3. My second yellow line, which was mile 7, was the last time I stayed in the sub 8 category. Now, what's that all about? Well, as we seem to know, about mile 4 is when legs start to open up. They want to do their own thing. And while the goal was a roughly 8-minute mile, they felt like doing something more. So I let them. And mile 7, which was my turnaround time, that kind of killed that. Now, why 8:13? Because my average moving pace was 8:06. I got stopped with cars. And so that was a real contributing factor. And so yeah, that certainly played into things quite a bit. And that's fine. So, however, because I was starting to feel this GI distress, after stopping here, to be honest with you, after stopping here, I personally noticed, like last time I had this GI distress thing, you saw me just run faster because I wanted to get home sooner. But after having to stop for cars, I noticed that to some degree, by running just a little bit slower, it didn't seem to shake things up as much, and that sense of urgency wasn't as strong. So, as sad as it may be, by actually slowing down the pace just a little bit, it helped to make running under the circumstance a little bit more tolerable. But again, we look at my numbers, and while I would have been happy with keeping under the sub 8 just because my body felt like doing it, these pretty much coincided with last week as far as the goal pace. Now, after not running on Thursday, notice this is mile 12, I was pumping 169. We come to last week, and I have mile 12 highlighted. Now, notice 8:03 here to my 8:04, real consistent pace. However, 8:03 last week got me a 160, and this week it got me a 169. So, did not running on Thursday contribute? Oh yeah, you bet, because you saw I dropped VO2 max. But then again, while I always enjoy earning 54, I've yet to be able to hold it for any period of time, but that's the goal I'm going to overcome. But anyhow, so not running Thursday definitely contributed to things. as far as a good heart run, things like that. And of course, per Garmin, per Garmin, whether they're right or wrong, they do illustrate a 5-degree temperature difference between last week and this week. So I'm certain that contributed to things as well. But it's neither here or there. It's done. It was good training. However, with that said, and actually I think I'm doing pretty good on time, I think. What I wanted to get into was, now that we got the run part covered, I shared with you guys last week I was going to talk about heart rate zones and your working heart rate. Now with that, before we have to start, now we all know, first of all, 220 miles your age, that doesn't apply to us. Maybe your stationary grandmother, but not to us. What we want to do is figure out what your maximum heart rate is. If you have any sort of heart rate device whatsoever, that's going to be your best bet as far as determining your maximum heart rate. And for those who've been following me for some time, you know that I'm no stranger to hitting 184 beats a minute, even for a small fraction of time. So with that, now we know that that's my maximum heart rate. So 220 minus my age is not my maximum, 184 is my true maximum. So what we need to do, in order to determine your working heart rate, we need to figure out what my resting heart rate is. So we come over here, and this is, while it doesn't quite illustrate on the Garmin screen, here, it doesn't exactly illustrate what this is. I pulled up, just so you know, I pulled up my all-day heart rate. So my all-day heart rate for today, so you see here, my resting heart rate for, I guess last night was 59 beats, but 58 beats, you can see here, is my 7-day average. So we know that 58 beats on average over the course of 7 days would be my lowest heart rate. With that said, then where did I put this? Oh, here we go. And then we go to this. This is just an Excel sheet blown up to like 304%. Okay, and this is something I created that talks about your little zones. And so we know 184 beats is my max. We know 58 was my average resting. So when we subtract 58 from 184, this leaves us with 126 beats of heart rate. So 126 beats of heart rate is really our working heart rate, because that's the amount of heart rate, amount of beats per minute that our heart can vary from its very resting place to its maximum place. That's the heart rate, or that's our working heart rate. So now, looking around, and I really do, I seem to spend more time researching what I'm going to tell you than I do telling you, which is fine. And if you look around, some people say, "Oh, we'll figure out what your heart rate zones are." Runner's World, sadly, I don't know if I say the tab, they're really bad for this. Why? Because they take my maximum, and here, actually, I think I saved this. Watch. Here we go. This is Runner's World magazine, because I'm trying to find out many sources to figure out how consistent they are as far as running. Oh, actually, no, I apologize. These guys don't have the calculator. They do make some good points on training zones, things like that. But okay, so all right, so I didn't save it. Anyhow, this is this image here I took from another link, which was this page here. I just like it because it's easier to see. So with that, how do you determine your working heart rate? It gets a little difficult if you guys have access to Excel. And by the way, if you don't have Microsoft Office, you could download the web version for your Internet Explorer for free. Microsoft will just attach it as to your Internet Explorer browser. So if you don't have it, you can still get it for free. Anyhow, so we know, how did I determine these zones? I use the verbiage that these guys are using. By the way, this is the Road Cycling UK website, okay? But I do like the verbiage because it's pretty much consistent with how we work as runners. So we have an active recovery, which of course are super easy runs, our endurance, our tempo, threshold, and VO2 max or VO2 runs. Trying to cross compare that even with this other web page, heart rate training. Again, trying to make certain that everyone's consistent with the information they share online, whether they change the verbiage or not. Despite the fact that this web page is calling each zone something different, both web pages do agree on the percentages. That's really what's most important to me. I don't care what you call your zones, but it's about the percentages. And of course, when deciding what zone you want to train in, they do make a very good sidebar of physiological biomarkers. And these guys illustrate here that a biomarker is a measurable physiological change in response to exercise intensity. One important application of biomarkers is to set training zones using biomarkers as an anchor points, providing a way for individuals to measure and train relative intensities. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind, that these are important, but always take your personal health into consideration. So assuming that you have no physical issues, no heart or cardiac issues, things like that, apples to apples, these are your zones, okay, or how I get my zones. So we take my maximum heart rate, subtract it from my resting, and it gives me this. This is the magic number all this is based off of. So in order to get 50% of this, I just basically 126 times 50%, and it gets me here. You'll see here, well, actually, you know what? I guess. Wow. Oh, here we go. Wow, it's hard to read, like way hard to read up here. I take 126 and times it by 0.05. Then I add back the 58, which is my resting heart rate. That gets me this number. I do the same here. I take my 126 times it by 0.6 to get the second half, and then add back my 58, and I get this number. And so I go all the way down. And so based on where my current heart rate is, based on my resting and my maximum, these are my zones. Now, with that said, and I'm trying to stay on point here, I apologize. With that said, they say zone 3, which they're stating is a tempo run. And bear in mind, because this is a cycling website, I don't necessarily think these are necessarily threshold conditions. But needless to say, well, then again, it might be because their actual threshold is in the threshold area. But as runners, I just focus on this. Just focus on this column here as runners. And so we know that, So we know that I'm cruising along here with an average heart rate, definitely in the high 160s. And we know I'm here in zone 4. High 160s in zone 4. Probably, honestly, quick math here, probably in the 85 to 90% range. And so, while I thought it was just a good run, and honestly I let my body do kind of what it wanted to, because I think it really missed Thursday. I have to admit, I think my body missed Thursday. So we know that I'm basically, I didn't think it was, but according to this, I was kind of like running in threshold range. Okay, whatever. So today's run turned into a threshold run, but I just didn't feel that it was. And again, I think I determine threshold based on the pace I'm running, not the heart rate I'm running. So this gives you an idea on how to do working heart rate. I actually tried to take the values in these 3 boxes and turn them into a mathematical equation instead of having to use the actual numbers, to where I could sit there and configure this box and just punch the stuff in. But in the short time I had, it didn't really work out as way as I wanted to. So I had to kind of manually, you can see up here, I've just manually added the numbers. So if you guys want, if you want me to give you information on how to do that, I'll go ahead and post the information in the description box of today's video. So anyhow, let's double check here. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had for you guys on this. I will go ahead and put links to all these things so you guys can review them at your leisure and do as you wish with them. But all in all, outside of the heart rate issue, outside of the cutting it short issue, I felt good about today's run. Still dealing with little aches in the ankle area and things like that, but again, they're slowly getting better, and I'm okay with that. Other than the GI issue, that was really honestly the only complaint or issue I had with this morning's run. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I've got a question for you though. For those who like to participate in this, I truly appreciate hearing from you guys and girls. Have you ever had a time when family issues interfered with your training or your running? And you don't have to share all the details unless you want to, but just let me know. Let me know if I'm the anomaly here or if this happens to other people. Whether you could say, yeah, I got in a fight with my boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife, and that threw my game off and I didn't run that morning or the next day, or my kids yelled at me, and or whatever the case is. I mean, you don't need to get into too much detail unless you want to, but I would like to hear from you, whether or not family issues had ever thrown off your game. So please post those comments below. If you have any other questions, feel free to post those below. If you like today's video, be certain to hit the like button. And again, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Every Tuesday, Thursday, on a normal week, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I do post new videos. Tuesdays are always my intervals. Thursdays are my tempo runs / threshold / progressive runs. And of course, Saturdays are my long runs. So that's all I've got for you guys today. You guys have yourself a fantastic Saturday and a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Tuesday. Until then, take care.